This is Sega's 1983 release Congo Bongo, or Tipu Tapu as it was known in Japan. It came out in '83 in arcades, and this is the 1984 ColecoVision release. Let's give it a try, shall we? Alright, the first thing you may notice is that Congo Bongo bears a very strong resemblance to Donkey Kong. And this is not by accident. Donkey Kong came out 2 years prior to this in the arcades, and it was a wild success. Nintendo scored really big with Donkey Kong, and Sega was just trying to basically cash in on Nintendo's success. Congo Bongo, like Donkey Kong, is your basic platformer, except for, unlike Donkey Kong, Congo Bongo is in 3 dimensions instead of 2. And this was a relatively unusual thing for games at the time. Almost everything was in 2 dimensions as far as video games were concerned. But Congo Bongo, 3-dimensional. Had a bit of an appeal if you walked by in a standard arcade, where everything else around you is 2-dimensional. It really caught your attention. And subsequently, you'd pop a couple quarters in and give it a try. But it was nowhere near as fun to play as Donkey Kong. And that's partly because the player control was so poor in this game. Which brings me to my major complaints with the game. Like I said, the control is super poor. Now, let me explain. You're moving along in a 3-dimensional gameplay area, but you have this joystick, and the joystick controls are inverted 45 degrees from the sprite reaction on the screen. In other words, if you press up on the joystick, your character moves up and to the right at a 45-degree angle to preserve the integrity of the perspective. And down is down and to the left of the screen, and vice versa, so on and so forth. So it was not as intuitive to control the character, and the hit detection and jump dynamics were horrific. It's really easy to get hit by something and die, as you can see, and it's really hard to judge your jumps. The jumps were very unforgiving in this game, and it just made it an all-around not so pleasant experience. Now, when I played this game, and I did play it occasionally in the early to mid-'80s in the arcade, I never managed to get past the first stage in the arcade. I'd sink a couple quarters in, never make it past the first stage and get a little bit flustered and move on to some other game that was better and more fun to play. But I decided to stick with it in this review and eventually beat the first stage. And you'll see in a second. We'll get to the second stage in the ColecoVision version, which is actually the 3rd stage in the arcade version. ColecoVision version had only 3 stages. The arcade had 4. Yeah, this Rhino stage really f***ing blows. It's super hard. There's these holes that are kind of scattered about, and you can jump into them and jump out of them, but I don't know what good they do because the Rhino can get you even when you're in them. So there you have it. Congo Bongo for the ColecoVision. Overall, pretty shitty game. You can skip right over this one. I'm Dommy from Classic Games Revisited. Until next time.